Hello, welcome back to Signal TV. This is a spontaneous content episode, so there are no 5 ways to or 6 ways to, or maybe by the end of this video there will be a title for it. But I just want to talk a bit to you about biases that you may have as a woman in seeing and figuring out the man of your dreams. Number one is tribe. Many ladies tend to already have a bias of the kind of tribe that they want to get married from. And if you talk to them about this, they may argue with you and say, oh, it's not true. But it is true. Everybody grows up with some sort of unconscious bias, and it is your responsibility when you become an adult to now break down those biases and say, no, I'm not going to agree with this, or I'm not going to go with this, or I'm going to find out why I should do things differently. Because some of these biases, they are not necessarily bad. It's just that they do not serve you. They may serve someone, or they may have served a set of people at a particular time, but it may just be that you need something different to work out in your life. So a lady will say something like, oh, I find it so hard, I don't want to marry outside of my tribe. Or I was watching a conversation one time where the lady was being asked, oh, would you get married outside of your tribe, your Igbo tribe? And the lady was like, no. And the interviewer asked why, and the lady just literally said, and I paraphrase, she just doesn't want to get out of that comfort zone. That was what she was trying to say. That is not what she said, but that's what she was trying to say. And that is an example of a bias, because you will be meeting other guys from other tribes, but you will just not know why things cannot move forward from where you are. You can't move forward from where you are right now, or what you want it to be, or what you think it can become, because you haven't dealt with that bias on the inside of you. So make sure you think about that. And another thing I want to say is, it's nobody's fault that they were born Hausa, or that they were born Igbo, or they were born Edo, or Yoruba, or even Israeli, or they're Turkish or Irish. So don't judge people because of where they're coming from. Make sure that you're paying attention to the content of their character and their patterns. What does their patterns look like? Not their promises, because anybody can promise anything, but their patterns. The other thing I want to talk to you today again about spontaneously, when we talk about bias, that some women, especially power women, or what I call women in leadership, unconsciously have bias for, is status. So a woman typically in leadership already has the bias that she wants to marry a kind of man who she perceives as higher than him because of her current leadership status. So you're a woman who is 35, and you're thinking that you want to get married to a man, or you're a woman who is 35 in leadership. Maybe you're the CEO or the VP of your current organization. Let's say you are in the career space. So you're thinking the guy I should get married to should be the country manager of another company. It doesn't have to be so. You can get married to a guy who looks seemingly less in status, but may be the right person for you. I say this all the time. You heard some names this week, most likely, especially if you're a person who is always learning new things. You've heard some names last week. You're gonna hear some names next week that you have not heard before. This is life. This is reality. And some names you've heard before, you may not hear them again. Not because they are dead, but they just went on. Let's leave that. It's just maybe they didn't just do rightly and they fell out of season. And for some people, in and out of season. What I'm trying to say is, you don't know what a person is today may not be what the person is going to be tomorrow. And I don't necessarily mean this in a negative way. I mean this positively. But the fact of the matter is, it also happens negatively for people as well. So you are currently with this guy who looks less than he is in status. He's hardworking, he has character, he has all of this great traits, but this person looks less in status because you are VP and he's not country manager. He's just an accountant in an organization. Understand that at the end of the day, You're getting married to a man who you believe has greatness on the inside of him and has the potential to push that greatness out as a result of the patterns in his life. And do not necessarily marry status, because some people get married to status and neglect character and all that, or think they can manage it and think that that status is going to carry them through, and they see that is the worst mistake that they've made in their lives. There's nothing wrong with marrying a man of status. If you see a man of status that is a man of character that wants to marry you, good for you. What I am just here saying to you, my dear sister, is that do not keep your mind so fixated on the kind of status you think your husband should have that you miss the one that is currently in the disguised form. Is currently in the disguised form and is the right one for you. That is going to grow to become even better than that status. I will end with this point with this example. There's a lady now whose husband is running for a particular office. When they got married, he wasn't running for that office. He wasn't running. They were doing their life, working, and all of a sudden she just came out to say, hey, this guy was running for this office and she's supporting him. It happens over and over again. People grow into things, and many times the things you perceive or the things you are holding on as status may not even be relevant in the next 5 years time, and that is reality. Look around you. So be discerning, and the most important status you want your husband to need to have is the spiritual status of maturity and the status of leadership, that he can actually take leadership of himself and leadership of his family. Okay, that is very important. All right, so the final point, I'll drop 3 points for you. The final point I have for you is age. I have some ladies are quite, when it comes to age, it's quite dicey for them. They like the guy, but because he's younger than them, they think they cannot respect this guy. They will not respect this guy, and he's not going to be a person who would have the ability to lead them. That is absolutely not true. I want you to know, my own personal advice is, as long as it concerns you, and make sure that you consult with the Holy Spirit, you try not to marry a guy that is 5 years younger than you, so that you don't start looking at a person as your brother or as your mentee, or start pitying the person. So the principle for this is, if you do not respect the man enough and you keep looking at the age again, you want to take a step back and check, do I need to work on my mindset, or do I not just respect this guy? Do I not just see this guy as a man who can lead me? That is what I want you to think about. So you see a guy younger than you, the bias I want you to break here is, because he's younger doesn't mean you are necessarily wiser. You're a wise woman in your own right, but this guy can't have the capacity to lead. Maturity, it doesn't come by age. It comes by intentionality, the content, the environment, all of those things, the input that the exposure that a person has been given. And that's why you see young people, maybe 21, doing things, taking steps that somebody at age 40 may not be taking. Sometimes some of these things that I call exposure, mindset, all these things are some of the things that are playing in that particular scenario. So ask yourself, is he a leader? You want to ask yourself marriage questions. You want to make sure you're not hanging on threads of things that will not be important. When people get divorced, hardly do people that say, so how old was he? Yeah, is the age, or does he's short? Oh my God, he's short. That's why the relationship broke up. Oh, I knew it. It's because of the country he came from. Sometimes these are not the reasons. It's character, because people can come from, people are divorced and they're from the same tribe, the same church, even they are from the same everything. So it's not about all of these things. These things are important, or can be important if you put it in context, but it's about character, the spiritual maturity of this person, and the understanding that the person has of leadership and marriage. My name is Sidney. Make sure you subscribe, share this video. You can see me in previous videos, and I will see see you